The alarm buzzed through the metal corridors of Mining Station Alpha 7. Jehun Park rolled off his narrow bunk and pulled on his gray work uniform. The fabric was rough and cheap, like everything the Veltri gave their human workers. "Another day in paradise," muttered his bunkmate Miho as he laced up his boots. The joke wasn't funny anymore, but they kept making it anyway. It was better than crying. Jehun walked through the long hallways toward the main work area. Other humans shuffled past him, their faces tired and blank. Some had been here since they were children. Others, like Jehun, remembered Earth before the Veltri came. The mining station hung in space around a dead planet. Through the small windows, Jehun could see the endless black of space dotted with stars. Somewhere out there was Earth. Somewhere out there was home. "Park, you're late." The voice boomed from behind him. Jehun turned to see Thexanel, one of the Veltri overseers. The alien was 8 feet tall with gray skin and 4 arms. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. "Sorry, sir," Jehun said, keeping his eyes down. Looking directly at a Veltri was considered rude. Rude humans got sent to the punishment cells. "Your team is assigned to Reactor Bay 12 today," Thexanel said, handing him a datapad. "The cooling system is making noise again. Fix it." Jehun took the pad and nodded. "Yes, sir." He found his team waiting by the tool lockers. Minji Kim was checking their equipment list. She was young, maybe 25, with quick hands and a quicker mind. The Veltri thought she was just another maintenance worker. They didn't know she had been studying their technology for years. "What's the job today?" asked Wujin, the oldest member of their team. He had gray hair and scars on his hands from 40 years of working with alien machines. "Reactor cooling system," Jehun said. "Same as last month." Minji looked up from her datapad. "That's the 3rd time this year. These systems aren't breaking down by accident." She was right, but Jehun couldn't say that out loud. The Veltri had listening devices everywhere. Instead, he just nodded and led his team toward the reactor bay. The reactor was huge, bigger than a house. It hummed with energy that powered the entire mining operation. Pipes and cables ran everywhere like metal veins. The air was hot and smelled like burned metal. "Wujin, check the main coolant line," Jehun said. Minji scanned the secondary systems. "I'll look at the control panel." They worked in silence for an hour. To anyone watching, they looked like simple workers doing their jobs. But Jehun knew better. Every time they fixed something, they learned how it worked. Every repair taught them something new about Veltri technology. Minji finished her scan and walked over to Jehun. She pretended to show him something on her scanner, but whispered instead. "The power coupling is deliberately unstable. They're making it break, so we have to keep coming back." Jehun nodded. It made sense. The Veltri wanted to keep humans busy and tired. Tired people didn't cause trouble. "Found the problem." Wujin called from across the room. He was lying under a massive pipe, tools scattered around him. Loose connection in the primary flow regulator. It took them 2 more hours to finish the repair. When they were done, the reactor hummed quietly again. The Veltri would be happy. For now, on the way back to their quarters, they passed through the main work area. Hundreds of humans worked at different stations, maintaining the massive machines that dug precious metals from the dead planet below. Children as young as 12 worked alongside adults, their small hands perfect for reaching into tight spaces. Jehun saw Soyoung at her computer station. She was 28 and one of the smartest people on the station. The Veltri used her to manage their data systems. They thought she was just typing numbers and reports. They didn't know she was secretly mapping their entire network. In the corner, Dr. Hyunwoo Lee worked on a broken mining robot. He had been a professor on Earth before the war. Now he fixed alien machines. But late at night, in hidden rooms, he built other things. Things the Veltri would kill him for if they found out. "Attention all workers," a voice announced over the station speakers. It was Vexthar, the station commander. "Production quotas have been increased by 15%. Work shifts will be extended by 2 hours. Around the room, humans stopped what they were doing. Their faces showed anger for just a moment before going blank again. 2 extra hours meant less sleep, less rest, less time to think. But Jehun smiled inside. The Velthri were making a mistake. They thought longer hours would break human spirit. Instead, it gave them more time to study alien technology, more time to understand the machines they maintained every day. That night, after the official work was done, small groups of humans met in secret. They talked in whispers about power systems and computer codes. They shared what they had learned during their shifts. Slowly, quietly, they built knowledge that would change everything. The Velthri slept peacefully in their comfortable quarters. They dreamed of the wealth flowing from their mining operations. They never imagined that their servants were dreaming too. Dreams of freedom, dreams of home, dreams of fire. The message came at dawn. Jehun was eating his breakfast of gray protein paste when his communication device buzzed. The small screen showed 3 words, Directive 15 activated. His blood turned cold. He had heard whispers about Directive 15 for months. Nobody knew what it meant, but everyone feared it. Within an hour, Velthri soldiers marched through the station corridors. They wore black armor and carried plasma weapons. Their boots made loud sounds on the metal floors. All humans report to Central Assembly immediately, the speakers announced. Failure to comply will result in punishment. Jehun joined the stream of workers walking toward the main hall. Minji walked beside him, her face pale. "What do you think this is about?" she whispered. "Nothing good," he replied. The Central Assembly Hall was packed with nearly 2,000 humans. Velthri soldiers stood around the walls, weapons ready. On the stage at the front, Commander Vexthar waited behind a metal podium. Workers of Station Alpha 7, the commander began. His voice echoed through speakers. The Velthri High Council has determined that human productivity has declined. Some among you have forgotten your place. Jehun felt his heart beating faster. Around him, other humans shifted nervously. Therefore, Vexthar continued, "We are implementing new security measures. Any human found possessing unauthorized materials will be executed. Any human caught in restricted areas will be executed. Any human showing signs of rebellion will be executed." The hall was completely silent. Even the soldiers seemed tense. "To demonstrate our commitment to order," Vexthar said, "we will begin with known troublemakers." 6 Velthri soldiers dragged 3 humans onto the stage. Jehun's heart stopped. One of them was Dr. Hyunwoo Lee. The old professor looked tired but not afraid. His gray hair was messy, and there was blood on his face. When he saw the crowd, he stood straighter. "These individuals were found with illegal equipment," Vexthar announced. "They were building devices without permission. The penalty is death." Dr. Hyunwoo stepped forward. "I have something to say." "Silence," Vexthar ordered, but Dr. Hyunwoo spoke anyway. His voice was loud enough for everyone to hear. "Storage Base 7, the asteroid facility. Tell Jaiwin." The plasma beam hit him in the chest. Dr. Hyunwoo fell backward and did not move again. Jehun bit his lip so hard he tasted blood. Around him, other humans were crying silently, but their tears were not just sadness. They were rage. The other 2 prisoners were killed quickly. Then Vexthar spoke again. "Let this be a lesson. We are watching. We are always watching." After the assembly, humans returned to their workstations in silence. But Jehun noticed something different. People's eyes had changed. Before, they looked tired and defeated. Now they looked angry. That night, Jehun found Jaiwin Nam in the communication center. She was alone, supposedly running routine maintenance on the message systems. But when Jehun whispered Dr. Hyunwoo's final words, her fingers stopped moving. "Storage Base 7, she repeated quietly. "The asteroid facility." "Do you know what he meant?" Jehun asked. Jaiwin looked around to make sure nobody was listening. "There's an old mining station in the asteroid belt. It was abandoned years ago. But Dr. Hyunwoo mentioned it once. He said it wasn't really empty." 2 days later, during the night shift, Jehun and Minji made their way to Storage Base 7. It was in the oldest part of the station, where broken equipment went to wait for repairs that never came. Behind stacks of rusted metal and old computer parts, They found a hidden panel in the wall. Minji used her tools to open it. Inside was a small room filled with equipment Jehun had never seen before. "What is all this?" Minji whispered. Jehun picked up a device that looked like a weapon but was made from spare parts. Dr. Hyunwoo was busy. There were dozens of items, modified communication devices, small explosives made from mining equipment, computer programs stored on hidden drives. Everything looked like normal maintenance supplies, but Jehun could tell they were much more. At the bottom of a metal box, he found a data chip with his name on it. When he plugged it into a portable reader, Dr. Hyunwoo's face appeared on the screen. "If you're watching this, I'm probably dead," the recording said, "but my work isn't finished. Everything you need is in the asteroid facility. Coordinates are attached. But be careful. The Velthri are afraid of us now. That makes them dangerous." The recording ended with a list of names and locations. Jehun recognized them all. Sunhee on Titan 7, Miho on New Sol Station, Yuna on the ice planet Cryos 3. All across the galaxy, humans were preparing for something. They made a mistake, Minji said, looking at the weapons and equipment around them. "What do you mean?" "They killed Dr. Hyunwoo to scare us. But all they did was prove that we have something worth dying for." Jehun nodded. The Velthri thought Directive 15 would crush human spirit. Instead, it had lit a fire that would burn across the galaxy. That night, secret messages went out to every human facility in Velthri space. The messages were short and simple. "The professor is gone. The lesson begins now." In storage bays and maintenance tunnels, humans opened hidden boxes and checked secret plans. They had been servants for 3 generations. But servants who remembered freedom were not servants at all. They were rebels waiting for their moment. And that moment had finally come. The attack began at exactly 0300 hours across 12 worlds. Jehun crouched in the maintenance tunnel beneath Reactor Bay 12. In his hands was a device that looked like a simple repair tool. But Dr. Hyunwoo had built it to do something very different. Around him, 10 other humans waited in the darkness. "All teams report ready," whispered Jaiwon's voice through his earpiece. She was in the communications center, using Velthri equipment to coordinate the attack. The aliens never imagined their own systems could be turned against them. "Minji, status report," Jehun said quietly. "Shield generators are mapped," came her reply. "I can shut them down in 30 seconds. Wu Jin, explosive charges are in place. Power systems will go dark when you give the word." Jehun took a deep breath. 3 generations of humans had waited for this moment. Tonight, servants would become warriors. "All teams execute now." Above him, the lights went out. Emergency power kicked in, bathing everything in red light. Velthri voices shouted in confusion through the corridors. They had never experienced a power failure on this scale before. Jehun climbed out of the tunnel and ran toward the command center. His device was actually a modified plasma cutter, redesigned to burn through Velthri armor. Other humans emerged from hiding places throughout the station, carrying improvised weapons that looked like maintenance tools. The first Velthri soldier he met was fumbling with a flashlight. The alien never saw Jehun coming. The plasma cutter went through his chest plate like paper. "Station Alpha, 7 is ours," Jehun reported into his communicator. Moving to Phase 2. Across the galaxy, similar reports came in. Sunny's voice crackled through from Titan 7. "Mining facility secured. Velthri garrison surrendered after we showed them what excavators can do to their barracks." Miho reported from New Sol Station. "Cargo fleet captured intact. Turns out the transport ships make excellent fighters when you remove the safety systems." On ice planet Cryos 3, Yuna had turned the planet's weather control system into a weapon. "Velthri can't handle -40 temperatures," she said with satisfaction. "Their life support systems are failing across the colony." But the most important voice came from Soyeon, who had taken control of the main Velthri communication network. "Broadcasting freedom signal now. Every human in the Empire can hear us." Her message went out to hundreds of worlds. "This is the human resistance. We are no longer your servants. "We are your equals, and we will prove it." The response was immediate. On mining worlds and factory stations, humans stopped working and picked up tools. But these weren't tools for maintenance anymore. They were tools for war. Jehun reached the command center to find Thexanael barricaded behind an overturned desk. The big alien's gray skin was pale with fear. "You don't understand," he said when he saw Jehun. "The Empire will send warships. They will destroy this entire station." "Let them come," Jehun replied. "We know their ships better than they do. We built them. We maintain them. We know how to break them." It was true. Every Velthari vessel was serviced by human technicians. Every weapon system was maintained by human engineers. For decades, humans had learned the secrets of alien technology while pretending to be simple workers. Minji appeared at his shoulder. "The asteroid facility is responding. Dr. Hyenwa's hidden base is operational." Through the command center's main screen, they watched as a massive shape emerged from the asteroid belt. It looked like a mining platform, but Jehun could see the modifications. Hidden weapon systems extended from what had appeared to be cargo bays. Engines that should have been for moving rock were powerful enough to outrun Velthari fighters. "How long has that been out there?" Thexanael asked in amazement. 15 years, Jehun said. "Dr. Hyunwoo started building it the day after the Empire conquered Earth. Every piece of scrap metal we recycled, every broken component we disposed of, every failed system we replaced, it all went there." The communication system crackled with more reports. Human uprising had spread to 60 systems in just 6 hours. Decades of careful planning were paying off. But the biggest surprise came from an unexpected source. Kextal, a Velthari engineer who had worked alongside humans for years, appeared on the screen. "Not all of my people support the Empire," he said. "Some of us remember when the Velthari were explorers, not conquerors. We want to help." Jehun looked at the alien's face. He saw something he had never seen in a Velthari before. "Shame. You kept us as slaves," Jehun said. "Yes," Kextal replied. "And we were wrong. Let us make it right." Within hours, cracks appeared in the Velthari Empire. Some aliens joined the human rebellion. Others fled to the core worlds. Many simply laid down their weapons and asked for mercy. As dawn broke over Station Alpha 7, Jehun stood in the observation deck and watched Velthari transport ships fleeing into space. They were running from an enemy they had created themselves. Jaiwin joined him at the window. 60 systems and counting, she reported. "The Empire is falling apart." "Good," Jehun said. "But this is just the beginning. Now we have to decide what comes next." Below them, humans and friendly aliens worked together to repair the station. The age of servitude was over. The age of freedom had begun. But freedom, Jehun knew, would have to be fought for every day. The Velthari war fleet appeared at the edge of the Proxima system, like a storm cloud made of metal and death. 200 ships, each one bigger than a city block, moving in perfect formation toward the rebel stronghold. Admiral Diane Kong watched them approach from the bridge of her flagship, the Liberation. The ship had once been a garbage hauler, designed to carry waste between planets. Now it bristled with weapons built from mining equipment and powered by stolen Velthari reactors. "They brought everything they have," said Captain Sojun, studying the enemy formation on his scanner. "Dreadnoughts, battle cruisers, fighter squadrons. This is their entire core fleet." Diane nodded. She had expected this. The Empire couldn't let the rebellion succeed. If humans won here, every slave race in the galaxy would rise up. The Velthari face extinction as a ruling power. "What's our count?" she asked. 47 ships, replied Minji from the communication station. She had been promoted to fleet coordinator after her success at Station Alpha 7, mining barges, cargo haulers, and the asteroid fortress, plus whatever Jehun scraped together from the outer colonies. The odds were terrible, but Diane smiled anyway. "They still don't understand us. They think bigger ships mean victory." She activated the fleet-wide communication system. "All ships, this is Admiral Kong. Today we face the full might of the Empire that enslaved our grandparents. They have bigger guns and stronger armor, But we have something they don't. She paused, looking out at a ragged fleet of converted civilian ships. We know their technology better than they do. Every system on their ships was maintained by human hands. Every weakness was cataloged by human minds. Today, we turn their own strength against them. The battle began when the Veltri opened fire at maximum range. Massive energy beams lanced across space, but they hit empty void. The human ships were already moving, scattering in patterns that looked random but weren't. Wu Jin had spent months studying Veltri targeting systems while pretending to repair them. He knew exactly how they tracked enemies. The human ships moved in the blind spots of alien sensors, invisible until it was too late. The first Veltri ship to die was the heavy cruiser Dominance. 3 converted mining ships surrounded it, using industrial cutting lasers to slice through weak points in its armor. The same tools that had carved up asteroids for decades now carved up warships. Direct hit on their primary reactor, reported Soyoung from the sensor station. The ship is breaking apart. But the humans paid a price too. A Veltri fighter squadron caught one of the mining barges in the open. The New Hope vanished in a ball of fire, taking 50 brave souls with it. The space battle raged for 6 hours. Human ships darted in and out of the larger Veltri formation, like insects stinging a giant. They couldn't match the Empire's firepower, but they didn't need to. They just needed to survive long enough for the real plan to work. Deep in the asteroid belt, Dr. Heinwa's hidden base came online. The structure looked like an abandoned mining platform, but it was actually the most powerful computer in known space. Built from stolen Veltri processors and powered by a black market fusion reactor, it had been waiting 15 years for this moment. Jaiwan had uploaded a virus into every Veltri system humans had ever repaired. For years, it had hidden in the background, disguised as normal maintenance software. Now, with the entire fleet concentrated in one place, she activated it. The virus spread to the Veltri command network like wildfire. Navigation systems began giving false readings. Weapon targeting became wildly inaccurate. Life support systems started shutting down randomly. What's happening? Admiral Thexanael demanded from the bridge of his flagship. His officers scrambled at their control panels, but nothing responded properly. The humans, Gas's chief engineer, they've infected our entire network. Every system is compromised. On the human side, the tide of battle shifted dramatically. Veltri ships began firing on each other as their identification systems failed. Others spun helplessly as their engines shut down. A few tried to retreat, but their navigation computers sent them straight into asteroid fields. Jehun led the final assault on the Veltri flagship. His ship, the Defiance, was a converted cargo vessel armed with plasma cutters and protected by improvised armor. It looked like junk compared to the massive dreadnought, but appearances were deceiving. Boarding parties away, he announced as human fighters attached themselves to the enemy hull. These weren't trained Marines. They were maintenance workers who knew every corridor and air vent on Veltri ships. Yuna led the assault through the ship's service tunnels. Behind her came 50 humans, armed with modified repair tools. They moved through passages of Veltri had forgotten existed, striking at vital systems before the defenders could respond. Within an hour, the flagship was theirs. Admiral Thexanael surrendered when human fighters appeared on his bridge through a maintenance hatch he didn't know existed. As the last Veltri ships either surrendered or fled, Diane looked out at the debris field that had been the Empire's grand fleet. Hundreds of alien ships floated dead in space. Victims of their own technology turned against them. Admiral, Minji reported, we're receiving surrender signals from 17 Veltri worlds. The Empire is collapsing. Diane nodded. The servants had become warriors. But now came the hardest part, deciding what kind of people they would become with their newfound power. 6 months after the Battle of Proxima, Jehun stood in the command center of the former Veltri flagship Imperial Dominion. The massive ship had been renamed Human Freedom, and its dark metal walls now displayed banners from dozens of liberated worlds. Through the main viewing screen, he watched the final Veltri surrender ceremony. Admiral Thexanael, once the terror of 3 star systems, now stood with his hands bound before a tribunal of former slaves. The Velthri Empire officially ceases to exist, announced Minji from her position as the new Director Galactic Affairs. Her voice carried across hundreds of worlds through the communication network that Soyoung had built from the ruins of alien technology. Around the galaxy, the news was received with celebration and tears. On Earth, humans saw their home sky for the first time in 3 generations. Children who had been born in alien factories finally breathed free air. Elderly people who remembered the conquest wept as they watched Velthri's soldiers lay down their weapons. But the victory came with difficult choices. "Sir," said Captain Sedun, approaching Jehun with a datapad, "the outer colonies are asking what to do with Velthri's civilians. Some want revenge. Others want to send them all back to their home worlds." Jehun took the pad and read the reports. On Mining World Kepler. 7. Human workers had surrounded Velthri families and were demanding they work in the same conditions humans had endured. On Factory Station Beta. 12. Former slaves wanted to destroy everything the aliens had built. Set up a meeting with the colony leaders. Jehun said, "We need to talk." The meeting took place in what had once been the Empire's throne room. Representatives from 50 human worlds gathered around a circular table that had been built from melted Velthri weapons. The symbolism was intentional. Instruments of oppression transformed into tools of democracy. Yuna spoke first. Her ice world had suffered some of the worst treatment under alien rule. "My people want justice," she said. "The Velthri worked us to death in their factories. Why should we show them mercy now?" Murmurs of agreement echoed around the room. Many nodded their heads. The desire for revenge was strong. But Dr. Heinwu's daughter, Unjin, stood up. She had taken over her father's work on the asteroid base. "My father died fighting for freedom," she said quietly. "But he also taught me that freedom means being better than your oppressors, not becoming them." Sun-He supported her. "If we treat the Velthri the way they treated us, we become the Empire. Different faces, same cruelty." The debate continued for hours. Some wanted to enslave the Velthri. Others wanted them exiled. A few even suggested following the old Empire's example and eliminating them entirely. Finally, an unexpected voice spoke up. Kextal, the Velthri engineer who had joined the rebellion, stepped forward. "I have no right to speak here," he said. "My people caused terrible suffering. But I ask you to consider something." The room fell silent. Many humans glared at him with undisguised hatred. The Velthri Empire began with good intentions. Kextal continued. "We wanted to bring order to the galaxy. We told ourselves that conquest was necessary for peace. Each cruel act was justified by the promise of a better future." He paused, looking around the room at the faces watching him. "If you choose the path of revenge, you will tell yourself the same lies. That cruelty is necessary, that your enemies deserve no mercy. And in 50 years, some other species will have to overthrow the human empire." His words hit like a physical blow. Around the table, representatives shifted uncomfortably. Miho broke the silence. "Then what do you suggest? We just forgive and forget." "No," said Diane, who had been listening quietly. "We choose something harder than revenge or forgiveness. We choose justice." She stood and activated a holographic display, showing a map of the galaxy. The Velthri Empire controlled 300 worlds. Those worlds are free now, but they need guidance. They need protection. They need a government that serves everyone equally. The plan she outlined was ambitious. Instead of a human empire replacing the Velthri one, they would create a galactic confederation. Every species would have representation. Every world would have a voice. The strong would protect the weak, regardless of what they look like or where they came from. "It won't be easy," Diane admitted. "Democracy never is. There will be arguments and disagreements. Some decisions will make nobody happy, but it's better than the alternative." The vote was close. Revenge was tempting, and many humans had suffered too much to easily forgive. But in the end, the dream of something better won. 3 months later, Jehun attended the first session of the Galactic Council. Representatives from over 100 species sat in the Great Hall that had been built in Earth orbit. Humans sat next to Velthri. Former slaves worked alongside former masters. Soyoung, now serving as the council's chief information officer, read the opening declaration. We, the free peoples of the galaxy, establish this confederation on the principle that no being shall be enslaved by another, that government derives its power from the consent of the governed, that all species are created equal. As the session began, Jehun looked up at the viewing gallery where ordinary citizens watched the proceedings. He saw human children sitting next to young Velthri, both groups curious about this new world being built. It wouldn't be perfect. There would be setbacks and mistakes. Some worlds would resist. Some people would choose hatred over hope. But for the first time in generations, the galaxy had a chance to be better than its past. The servants had not just won their freedom. They had chosen to share it.